Last week was episode 100, and we took the time to look at episode 1 and see how much I have changed in the last 100 weeks. Now, we are just a week later, and I potentially have the best job opportunity that I've had since graduating. Fittingly, I've done some thinking since then as well, some more reflecting, and I have some thoughts that I would like to share with you. Firstly, I'm grateful. Secondly, I'm nervous but excited. Thirdly, I still don't know if this is exactly what I want to do. Now, when I say I'm grateful, that's kind of a bland statement. What does that really mean? What does that really pertain to? You can be grateful for everything in your life pretty much, which I am. But I'm grateful for a number of reasons. This job position that it seems very rather promising is in Colorado. I'm grateful that I'm in a position to move to a state where I think I can really thrive and really want to be and maybe be the best version of Matthew B. Stein. I'm in a position where I can really actually go to where I want to go. That's special. I'm also in a position where I have support around me. I have family members, I have friends, I have professional connections. I have people in my life that support me, believe in me, want me to succeed, and think I can succeed. So that is huge, and that is something that not every person gets. So I'm surely grateful for the things that I'm grateful for, if that makes sense. I'm especially grateful for these professional connections because I've been working at a basketball tournament this past week, the TBT tournament, the basketball tournament. It's like adult pickup. It's really kind of like the best kind of tournament. You get your guys from wherever you are, you pick a team name, you have a coach, you have a GM, and then you go and you play against other guys with a chance to win $1 million. It's like the best kind of basketball. It's just a quality mix between professional and amateur. Anyways, while I've been working this tournament, I've been working with the company Tupelo Honey that I've done a lot of previous work with before. And they're really the company that sort of jump-started my career. So I've been having these grateful thoughts because I'm in this position where I'm going somewhere where I want to go, but also I'm working for people that believe in me and like me and enjoy being around me, and that's an amazing feeling. To be in an environment where you're supported and believed in, that's incredible. I'm just thinking a lot, especially recently, about how I got my start there. I got my start by making cold calls to a bunch of people, and just one of the guys happened to be the VP of production for the company, and since then he got me ingratiated with the company and had me started working with them, and my production career has really jump-started since then. It was that moment that really started my career. I met some cool people through the company as well. I don't know. I feel really blessed in this moment. It's really, without going on and on about it, it's incredible to me that I'm in a position where I have a chance to step forward in my career. I have a chance to go to a place that I want to go to, a state that I want to live in, perhaps the number one state I would choose to live in. I'm going to be working around, if I get the position, I'm going to be working around sports, collegiate sports, and I will still have all of these people behind me. Granted, they'll be farther away, and that'll be something that I'll have to deal with, but I also have my family to support me, my friends to support me, my professional connections to support me and help me out where they can. I still have this network of people behind me, and I guess I just know no matter where I go that they'll have me back. What? That's not even an accent of anywhere. I know they'll always have my back wherever I go, whatever I do, and I think that's ultimately what should be most important. 1.5 Lee or 1.5 Lee, whatever's in between 1 and 2. I'm sorry. I've been reflecting on my podcast recently, and reflecting this past week since episode 100, and I want to clear up one moment that happened in my podcast. Earlier, or several weeks ago, back in March, I went to Amsterdam. I was lucky enough to travel to the beautiful city of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. When I was there, on my episode, once I got back, I talked about meeting a guy named Pedro. This guy that I met in the park who was staying in the same hostel as us in the park that we were in. And we met him, we hung out with him a couple nights. He's a really cool guy from Colombia. He wanted to make movies. He's just a pretty cool guy. I refer to him in my podcast as Pedro. And, oh God, when I think back about this, I just cringe my whole body. I feel gross in some ways. His name was Felipe, not Pedro. And it feels like what's not stereotyped, but I gave him a stereotypical name because I wasn't thinking in the moment. I couldn't remember his name exactly, so I wanted it because it sounded right, but I was wrong, and I just want to clear that up. Your boy Felipe, I met him in Amsterdam. He might still be there. What he talked about his plans, he's still there trying to make movies, even though they don't really have a great media department or culture in the Netherlands. I don't know. But I just want to say, Pedro, Felipe. Felipe's your real name. I'm sorry if you're watching. I'm sorry for getting your name wrong in that episode. You're a cool guy. Hopefully we'll cross paths once again. He said he would cast me in his movie, wants to cast me in his movies as sort of a charismatic villain one day. So I don't know if that's gonna happen. But hey, Felipe, if you're out there and you're watching, my bad, bro. It's on me. I'm sorry. And the funny thing is, I texted him after he watched the episode because we were still talking during that, and I asked him, "Hey, so what'd you think of the episode?" He's like, "Oh, it's cool, man. I liked it." All right, well, you be good, man. I'll see you when I see you. He kind of ended the conversation after that because he he was too nice to say, "Hey, man, you got my name wrong," because he must have assumed that it was some sort of honest mistake, because it was. His name was Felipe, and I called him Pedro totally on accident. But I appreciate him for not calling me out, although I may have liked it because then I could apologize to him on site instead of letting it linger until this moment, but sorry, Felipe. Secondly, I'm nervous but excited. So with this potential job offer is a video production position, which is great for me because video production is right in my alley. It's something that I've studied in school. Oh, I'm studious, huh? How about that? That's crazy. With this position, I feel like I am capable of doing what the position requires, or at least what I believe it to require me as of now. But there are things that are within the position that I know I haven't done yet. So that makes me particularly nervous that oh no, and the most insecure part of my mind, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do it. I don't have the skills. I've never done this before. I can't do it because I haven't done it before. What a silly thought that is. You know how many times in any person's life, but my life as well, there's been something that I haven't done before, and then I've done it? Yeah, it's nerve-wracking the first time you do something, especially if it seems challenging or beyond your reach, but you always have to try something first to get better at it. What's the point of being nervous about something, being hesitant with something, or afraid of something, really in general, but especially if you're not willing to try it? Because then you're just being nervous or anxious for no reason. This is not my point. I'm losing track of my point here. I'm nervous for this position. I don't know if I can actually do what they're asking of me. I know I can, but I don't know how well I can do the things they're asking of me. My job now, between the first and the second interview, is to sort of review the content they've made in the past and look at ways that I can improve on it or make it better. And as I've looked at previous content they made, there are ways that I think I can improve on it and make it better. Just even smaller things like upping the quality of the shot or the framing, having a little music in the background. Just even small things like that can change it pretty dramatically. So I have ideas for how to improve the program. I have ideas for things that I may want to try or may want to do or may want to film. I have ideas, but yet I'm still excruciatingly nervous. Not excruciatingly, but rather nervous that I won't be able and ready for this position. But how am I going to know if I don't try? And if I have these ideas and thoughts and I have this previous experience, why do I have these thoughts that I can't do it? I definitely can do it. I've done things very similar. I've done a lot of experience similar. And the people that I'll be working with will have done this stuff before. So with their advice, their guidance, and with my own ideas and my own creativity, surely there's a creative, satisfying, high quality, unique middle ground that can be met in order for me to excel in my position and for them to be happy with the work that I create. So while this position may not be my dream job, it is an incredible starting position. It gives me an opportunity for a lot of things. To live in a place I want to live. To be in an area of the country I want to be in. Which is kind of the same thing, but bigger picture, smaller picture, whatever. Work in and around sports. Do live production, which I've done a lot of and found like a real drive for. Be creative. Grow my skills, particularly in editing video in Photoshop. And fifth one, I'd hope, is really just mature as a person, grow as an individual, Become a true young adult. Or dare I say, a true adult. I mean, that's going to take a couple of years, but who knows? Like, I feel myself rapidly maturing in this moment I'm in, and who's to say it's going to stop now? And why can't it continue on in a place like Colorado? I don't know, man. Every couple hours, I just get these thoughts that, like, oh, fuck, Matthew, you can't do this shit. You're not cut out for this. But then a couple more hours will go by, and I'll be like, bro, you tripping. Bro, you tripping. You've done all of this. You've done a lot of this similar stuff before. You've done stuff that's very similar and very related. It's very comparable. So why the hell could you not do this? What would stop you from being able to do this position? Nothing is the answer. My own will and determination is the answer. And I think I can overcome those things and overpower those things to fulfill this position and really be the best version of myself in the place where I want to live, in the environment that I think in this moment I want to be in. Nervous but excited. Thirdly, I still don't know if this is exactly what I want to do. Despite my strong support circle I have for myself, around myself, that stretches far and wide, from people in my industry to even just in my family. Despite the fact that I have self-confidence and I believe in myself, and the fact that I have done a lot of production, varieties of production, live sports production, just normal video production, a number of things, even have my own podcast for over 100 weeks. Despite these things and my experience, and despite the fact that I'm going to be working in sports, and I've told myself for the longest time that if I can get paid to work in sports, it's going to be hard for me to be upset. Despite the fact that I'm potentially going to be moving to the number one state that I would have had on my list on states I want to move to. Despite all of this, I'm still unsure that I'm doing what I want to do or what I should be doing. Granted, I don't think there's any right answer for what I should be doing. I think that's up to me to determine, but in my determination, I don't know if I'm doing what I want to do. That's not saying I don't want to do this, because I do, and I have the experience for this, and I put in the time into this career and in this industry, if you will, but there are so many reasons that look promising or in my favor or in support of me, but yet, despite this and despite my previous experience, how I've gotten to where I'm at, I'm still unsure. I'm still not certain that I'm going down the right path, or the path that will ultimately get me to the goal I want to be at. But luckily, I have faith in the fact that the journey of life is non-linear. There's no right path to follow to get to where you want to go. There's no right answer. There's no right decision that can be made. Ultimately, it's just what feels right in the moment. And right now, there's not really anything that feels more right than working in sports, allowing myself to be creative and flex my creative muscles and try new things, living in a place that seems exciting to me, seems like it fits to what I want out of life, and seems to fit what I want out of my future as well. And I don't know what I'm doing with this list, but also, again, I'm working in sports in a place I want to be in. Well, potentially. I think it's okay and potentially kind of good, or I'm lucky to be in a position where I'm truly still trying to figure shit out, because some people will have figured it out, but still haven't figured it out and are just 15 years down a path that they didn't want to follow in the first place, which I guess is what I'm afraid of. But with all the things I explained, people support me. I'm working in sports. I have the experience in this field. I'm going to be in Colorado. Again, potentially in Colorado. I can't get ahead of myself. I really need to pump the brakes a little bit, but they're flying me out, so they must be serious about me either way. So many green checks. So many reasons that are saying, or so many signs that are saying go this way. Not many that are saying do not enter. But I still doubt myself on the best of days. Good for me. I have good experience. I have capabilities. I am me as a person. I am still Matthew B. Stein, and I'm confident that Matthew B. Stein can shoot and reach the stars. So I guess I just gotta keep the gas down, keep my foot to the floor, and we'll see where it takes me. I don't really know, but I have high hopes. And right now, in this moment, this decision feels right. So I'm just gonna stick with that and hold on to that. We'll see how it goes. So we know. Here, I'm gonna stand up for this. Actually, I for some reason standing up feels a lot better. Maybe I'm able to process my thoughts clearer. I guess I don't know. So I'm grateful, nervous yet excited, and still unsure. Don't really know where I'm going. Don't really know what the future holds. Right now, it seems like I'm leaning in a certain direction, and that direction I'm truly excited about because I don't know what it's going to be like. And I'm really looking for my next, I don't want to say challenge, but journey, you know? And when I came to college, I was this lost young boy trying to figure myself out. I had an idea of who I was, but I didn't really know, of course. And then I went to college, met some people, had some conversations, saw some new things, experienced some things I hadn't experienced before. And I grew from that experience, and I became a better, more mature, well-rounded, patient individual. And I would say just a better person in general. I mean, that's the growing up process, but still. I find myself yet again in a similar position, having stepped forward from the place I was before college, now into this more mature young adult. I feel a lot more certain in my decisions, in the way I do things, in what I'm thinking, in the direction I'm working. Probably because I have more ground behind it. I have more time. There's more previous timeline to get me to this position. So there's more to base my current confidence off of, perhaps. I am nervous and unsure about what is going to happen, what I'm really going to be doing in the next year or 3 or 4 years. Who really knows? You don't, I don't. And that's kind of the fun of it. That's why I've mentioned that I'm grateful just to be in this position at all. I'm nervous about this position because I have the experience, but I don't have the solidified evidence that I can do all of these things. I'm excited, but that I have the confidence to do these things, but yet I'm still unsure because who really knows what they want to do at any point in their life? We're all just trying to figure it out and see which shoe fits the best. And right now I found a shoe that fits pretty well. It fits pretty well. It's not quite the glass slipper, but that puppy fits pretty snug. So I'm just going to follow this shoe, let it carry me where it carries me, and we'll see where I'm at. Maybe I'll be in a worse position. You'd hope not, but I might be. Maybe I'll be in a better position, a position that I would never even expect myself to be in. So many outcomes, so many possibilities. All I got to do is try and stick true to who I am, the individual that I am, that's standing in front of you right now, talking to you through this screen. Stick true to who I am. Remember how I was raised and the values that I was raised on, and remember the experience that has gotten me to where I am. And always be an open and active listener, trying to pick up as much information that I possibly can. And based on my previous experience, if I do all of those things, I will, 1, be happy. 2, be working in a place that hopefully brings me joy and in an area that is good for me. And 3, figure it out, at the very least. Just figure it out. And maybe I won't figure it out, but you got to take the time to at least try. Oh man. I also just got this book, 60 Seconds and You're Hired. I've read a few pages of it. Even has some good thoughts, even just the first 2 pages. Some guy suggested I bought this, so then I did. Shout out to you. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what the future holds for me. I don't know, you don't know, and we're going to figure it out. Maybe together. Who really knows? Who really knows how long this podcast will keep going on? I don't. And I'm the one that does all of it. So who knows? Nobody! I'm excited about whatever's next. I'm looking forward to whatever's next. And at the very least, if I don't get this job and it doesn't pan out, I got a day trip to Colorado and I got to meet some cool people in a different area. So that's cool either way. But we will see. All we can do right now is wait. This is all for this week's episode of the Procrastinator Podcast. Episode 101. Shout out to the Dalmatians. Past the century mark. These have been just some thoughts from Matthew B. Stein. And I have been your host, Matthew B. Stein. And you have been fantastic as always. I will see you in next week's episode of the Procrastinator Podcast. I appreciate you so much. This journey has been wild. From being an infant to being in college to starting this podcast my junior year to here now. It's been incredible. It's been wild. It's honestly been, I would say, in terms of life experience, I've gained more since I've started my podcast than I had all years before that. Maybe that's brave, but it feels that way. So much has happened the past 2 years. I've matured and I've grown and I've it's unreal. And there's so much more progress that can be made in the future. We'll see. Okay. So long. Tito Beeb.